Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to another episode of Ant on Music. I am your humble host, Ant, and this week I'm finally getting around to doing the episode I've been promising for about a month and a half, which is on the best trios in rock. Okay? No matter what genre of music you dig, I guarantee you there is an outstanding trio of musicians that make you really think that there's a lot more people in the band and a lot more going on than there actually are. And we're going to go through my favorites. These aren't necessarily, there is no best, there is no greatest, because music is subjective and, everybody likes different stuff. If you can see behind me, it's like you've got Hendrix and the Experience, right? You got ELP. Then you've got a couple little Funko guys down here and there with, see if I move out of the way, with the Police and Rush. And we're going to talk about a bunch of these bands today, because, I dig them. So first thing we're going to look at, we're going to look at a couple of the more underrated ones, a couple of underrated albums. These aren't necessarily colored vinyl or anything spectacular, not doing a big box set this week because it was just too hard to narrow down like a singular box set. I mean, I have all the Rush ones. They're great. One day I'm going to do a show on Rush, and it's probably going to be about an hour long because I have a ton of their stuff. But one of the first bands that I really dug as a trio when I was just in high school, so a long time ago, very long time ago, Zebra, and this is their debut album on Atlantic Records and Tapes at the time. This is just a stunning debut. These guys had been around for a while, grinding it out, and they finally got their big break with Atlantic Records. It kicks off with their first single, Tell Me What You Want, goes into One More Chance, Slow Down. As I said before, another fantastic song, Who's Behind the Door, When You Get There, Take Your Fingers From My Hair, Don't Walk Away, and the La La song. These guys, still out there every now and again. They go on tour, and they really are great guys. I had the opportunity to do a couple of shows for them back on the 3.5 tour cycle, back when I was working in clubs, and they really are some of the nicest guys I've ever met. Actually traded their drummer, Guy, a lesson on how to slip cue a record. If you're a DJ, you understand what that term is, for a drumstick. And I have the drumstick somewhere in the archives garage. I have it there, but always dug these guys, always thought that they were a fantastic band. Was very disappointed when they stopped releasing new tunes, but if you've never heard of Zebra, what rock are you living under? But if you haven't listened to them in a while, maybe give them another shot. They really are a great band. And like I said, they're still out there kicking around. Randy Jackson has got a great voice. They're just solid. Felix Guy and Randy, just superhumans and great musicians. And they put out four albums for Atlantic, because they put out they put out the second album that has Bears on it, and then they had the third album, which was 3.5, and then they put out the live album 3. Live, and they put out a few since then, but haven't put out anything in quite a long time. So if you've never heard of these guys, or if you have heard of them, pleasant reminder, go listen to some Zebra, man. This is some good stuff. All right. Next thing I have for you, like I said, genres, go across all genres. Doesn't matter what you listen to. As far as the 80s goes and blues, talk about a blues revival. Tragedy strikes, and unfortunately, this was one of the guys that died way too young. That is Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he put out some excellent albums. This is my favorite. Couldn't Stand the Weather. Scuttle Button, Couldn't Stand the Weather title track. Things That I Used to Do. Voodoo Child, Slight Return, excellent version of that. Cold Shot, probably one of the better known tunes by Stevie Ray and Double Trouble. Tin Pan Alley, excellent. Honeybee and Stang Swang, just top-notch stuff. I mean, if you're into guitar, especially blues-based guitar, and you haven't listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan, once again, what the hell are you doing, man? This is just fantastic stuff, top to bottom. All right, nothing really to see as far as the record goes itself. I don't think there's anything to see in the Zebra, but let's double check. Oh, we got lyrics and liner notes, but basic Black Album, nothing to see there. this was in the days before, we had all this colored vinyl and everything, and it was just cool to get a record. It was neat to have an album. So moving right along, another great band. This is possibly the second greatest Canadian trio of all time. And of course, I'm talking about the guys in Triumph. Got to see them live. Zebra, like I said, worked with them a couple times. Never was lucky to see Stevie Ray, but I did get to see Triumph on the Sport of Kings tour, and they had Yngwie Malmsteen opening up. And, Yngwie came out, did his thing, shredding a million miles an hour and all that. These three guys came out, and they completely blew him off the stage. I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, no, you can't blow Yngwie off the stage. Trust me. Rick Emmett and company, they took him to the woodshed. I mean, it was a great show. This album, we'll squeeze this out. This is an original copy from back in the day on RCA Records, Basic Black. We have this little Triumph. It was the sleeve for the album. Lyrics and liner notes. And photos of the band. Obviously hasn't stood well with the test of time, but hey, when you've got an album that's, almost 50 years old, they're going to take a bit of a beating. As far as the tracks on this album goes, this is the album Allied Forces. You have Fool for Your Love, one of their best songs, Magic Power, Air Raid, title track, Allied Forces, Hot Time in the City Tonight, Fight the Good Fight, one of my favorite songs by them, Ordinary Man, Petite Etude, and Say Goodbye. They broke up years ago, but, they had a great catalog of work. Just the Game, the live one, Stages, Sport of Kings, Never Surrender. Definitely hard rock, more of, not really progressive, more towards the hard rock end of things. Really good stuff. Like I said, Triumph, Allied Forces, another great underrated trio from Canada, and just underrated overall. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hop, skip, and a jump to another trio. If I didn't mention this trio, I think my brother-in-law Joe would have an issue with it. It's one of his favorites, and it's not the Beastie Boys. This is strictly like rock stuff that I'm doing here today, and this is one of his favorites. All right, his favorite trio probably of the kind Day. All right, this is a cool little media book that they put out for the album American Idiot. Kind of it shows you the title track there, all the other tracks, all this stuff's falling out. Got bonus tracks with this, and it shows their catalog of everything that was available up to that point. I try and keep everything as original as possible. It's got the lyrics and liner notes going through, and it's got the hype sticker here. This was a limited edition deal, so we got that. Hopefully that'll not be so blurry. And this is, of course, the trio of Billy Joel Armstrong, Mike Dirt, and Trey Cool. Boulevard of Broken Dreams is a great track off this. The title track, American Idiot, which they've redone, changed the lyrics a bit. Jesus of Suburbia, Holiday, St. Jimmy, Extraordinary Girl, Letter Bomb, Wake Me When September Ends, probably one of their biggest tracks that they ever put out. And you got a couple other ones as well, like What's Her Name. Good solid, pop punk band. Not punk like the Pistols, or even the Ramones were pretty poppy, but not we're not talking stuff like like Fear and stuff like that, or Black Flag. These guys are more pop punk, and that's cool if you dig it. That's awesome. American Idiot media book right there. One of the best of the 90s, still going strong today. Put out their new album either early this year or late last year. I don't remember. Have it somewhere in here. So now we're going to go into the 90s. We're going to continue on with the pop punk type stuff, I guess you could call it. This is my favorite pop punk band of the 90s. This is Everclear. So Much for the Afterglow. I absolutely love this album. Inside you got picture and lyric and liner notes there. This is a beautiful packaging that they did with this. This is Intervention Records. I was happy to hear that they're finally releasing on vinyl Songs from American Movie Part 1. I believe that's coming out in September. And of course, I pre-ordered that. I really dig Everclear. The vinyl's basic black, heavy duty black vinyl. And this has got some outstanding tracks. I remember when this album came out, it was kind of panned a little bit. People saying it lacked cohesion and this and that. And to be honest with you, I think the album's fantastic. It kicks off with the title track, So Much for the Afterglow, which if you're unfamiliar with it, what they did was they mimicked the sound of those sweet Beach Boys harmonies. And then it just kicks in with crashing guitars, drums, and bass. And it just amps up the volume, and it's just amazing. Everything to Everyone, which was a big single for them back in the day. Ataraxia, which is an intro into another big single for them, Normal Like You. Then it went to a third big single, I Will Buy You a New Life. And then on to a fourth big single, Father of Mine. I mean, that's pretty damn good to have three huge singles right in a row on one album. Probably why I dig them so much. It's like they juxtapose the sweet melodies and also this driving pop punk music that they put out. And Art is just a phenomenal lyricist. Rest of the tracks on this are One Hit Wonder, El Distorto de Melodica, Amphetamine, which is another great track. It's a million miles an hour, really gets your blood pumping. White Men in Black Suits, dig that one as well. Sunflowers, another really popular track. And then it closes off with Why Don't I Believe in God and Like a California King. If you've never listened to them, check them out. Definitely worthwhile to listen to. And check out the other stuff. Songs for American Movie 1 and 2. Great albums. Also, White Trash Hell with Heroin Girl on there. Awesome. Good stuff. Everclear. All right. I know Art's had some health issues as of late, but wish him well. He's a cool dude. Love all the stuff he's put out, including his solo stuff. Everclear, so much for the Afterglow. Now we're going to get into probably my 3 favorite trios of all time. And we're going to start with one that I've done a box set on them before, a 45 box set on them when they had a release through Third Man Records of their singles. And that is the one and only Les Claypool and Primus. All right. On this album, you have the Primus was Tim Herb Alexander, Larry Lalonde, and obviously Les. This is the Pork Soda record. This is still my favorite from them. I think it might have to do with the first time I got to see them was on tour for this album, in support of this album, and it was them with Alice in Chains co-headlining Lollapalooza '93. That was really fantastic. And take a look at the album itself. It's a gatefold. Got the bubbling pork soda there, and of course a picture of the band up in the corner. And for the album, it's on their own imprint, which is known as Prawn Song. If you know anything about Primus, you know a lot about sturgeon, a lot about fishing, and all the like. And basic black. It starts off with Pork Chop's Little Ditty, which is kind of like a banjo tune. Then you have My Name is Mud, which they put out a video for, very creepy, very freaky. Welcome to This World. Bob, about his friend who took a belt and hung himself. Very odd lyrical choices. On the other side, you have the old Diamondback Sturgeon, which is Fisherman's Chronicle Part 3. Nature Boy and the drum track Wounded Knee. Then on the other slab of vinyl, we'll grab that out as well. Let's slide this in this way. It's Fighting Me. All right, we're going to do that later. I have no patience, nor should I. So on the other slab of vinyl, you have Hamburger Train, Pork Chops Little Ditty, and Hail Santa. Not Hail Satan, Hail Santa. And title track, Pork Soda, The Pressman, Mr. Crinkle, which is very another odd. I mean, all their stuff is odd, but I mean odd even in the sense of Primus. And The Air is Getting Slippery, which is a real funky track. You know, and as far as they go, if you know nothing about Primus, they are really musical outsiders. Les was actually asked to be the bass player in Metallica after Cliff Burton had left, you know, supposedly. And, you know, he shows up with his giant yellow mohawk, and they kind of realize, hey, maybe this isn't the guy for us. And then when he started playing, and he was like on another level, a different universe than they were, that's when they said, yeah, it's awesome, thanks for coming down, but yeah, you're not going to work. But, you know, needless to say, they went on, had their own career. I've seen them a bunch of times. Always a lot of fun, Les and company. And inside the gatefold, you've got, it's hard to tell, but it's lyrics and liners in there as well, aside from that picture I noted before. Now we're going to get down to the final two, okay? And this is why I say you can't say greatest, best, this or that. Favorite, you know, and any of these could be my favorite on any given day, as well as a bunch of others as well. So these two bands I got into when, you know, when I was pretty young, probably, you know, preteen, teen. And they're kind of the antithesis of one another in a lot of ways. One band, all right, deals with a million notes in a lot of times, you know, and the other, a lot of space. You know, they let the music breathe. And they have various influences in and amongst themselves. First one we're going to talk about will make it pretty obvious. It's Rush. All right, seen Rush, you know, half a dozen times probably. I was lucky enough to see them a bunch of times. First concert that I was able to bring my son to, where it was a rock concert, was Rush's final tour on their farewell tour. Got them at Madison Square Garden. What a great show! You know, they did the whole time machine thing, going back in time all the way back to the beginning, and it's really hard to pick a favorite Rush album for me because they are near and dear to my heart. They're one of the best bands out there musically and lyrically. Say what you will about Geddy's vocals, they're an acquired taste. I've always dug them. It's fine by me. So I had to think back. It's like, do I pick Farewell to Kings? That's like really the first album I got to listen to by them, and that was with the Trotta brothers in grammar school. Frank and Emilio Trotta. Listened to that. They said, hey, have you heard the song Xanadu? And I was like, oh, I've heard it. I thought they were talking about the Olivia Newton-John song because, you know, I was very young and they didn't play Rush on the radio. This is pre-Tom Sawyer, you know. It's like they were non-existent. And then I thought about, well, the first time I saw them was on the Big Money tour, you know. And it's like, you know, and I got to see them with Marillion, who, you know, I really follow them. But, you know, I started thinking about it, and it's like the album I chose to show you today is probably one that's, you know, it's a touchstone. I go back to it all the time, and that is Signals. Fantastic album, you know, start to finish. Take a look at the vinyl. This is an OG copy, as they say. So you've got the fire hydrant for the Dalmatian to do his business on there, on the label. You've got lyrics, liner notes, and a photo of each of the band members, Alex Geddy and the very late, great Neil Peart, possibly one of the most talented drummers and lyricists to ever record an album and grace the stage. And this album, you know, from start to finish, for me, there's not a weak track. Kicks off with Subdivisions, The Analog Kid, Chemistry, Digital Man, The Weapon, New World Man, fantastic track. Losing It, very beautiful, melancholy track, and Countdown, about the launching of the space shuttle. And, you know, just a fantastic album. For me, not a weak link anywhere to be found on this. If you have never been into Rush, this is a great album to start with. Got some new wavy influences in there, and it was a definite departure from their previous stuff where everything was very prog. They started breaking away on Moving Pictures, and even prior to that on Permanent Waves. But this was like a really a true break where keyboards became much more front and center for them. And always loved this album. Fantastic album. All right, so finally, since I couldn't decide as to which one to pick, like I said, it's like picking between children. You can't really do that. So we'll do a little striptease for you. Launch some music. The other band that I consider one of my favorite trios of all time, The Police. All right, and the album I chose to show you today. This is my original copy back from when it came out. This was also one of the first 3 CDs I ever bought when CDs became a thing. The album still sounds fresh to me today. It's fantastic. Album is Zenyatta Mondata. This album has seen better days. Like I said, I got it when it came out way back in 1980 on A&M Records. I would show you the sleeve, but I don't know where the hell it got to in all these years. Like I said, I was probably, I was 12 when this came out, so probably wasn't too careful with it. Luckily, I have another copy of it inside the box set there. Police do have another box set coming out just solely on Synchronicity. That's coming out next month. Hint, hint, you're going to see it, guaranteed. I'm a huge Police fan. And this album is just phenomenal, top to bottom. Side 1, Don't Stand So Close to Me. Basically talking, about, the high school Lolita. Driven to Tears, When the World is Running Down, You Make the Best of What's Still Around. Those 2 tracks slide one into the other, and it's just magic. Canary in a Coal Mine, very upbeat reggae type of tune. Voices in My Head, bombs away. Then on the backside, another single, Di Do Do Do, Di Da Da Da. Behind My Camel, excellent instrumental. Man in a Suitcase, basically them talking about what it's like to basically be on the road most of the time. Shadows in the Rain, another phenomenal standout track. And The Other Way of Stopping, another excellent instrumental right there. Always dug this album, always thought it was fantastic. Still listen to it to this day. There's got to be at least once a year that I break out that album. So before I disappear, because I didn't say it at the beginning, I would like you all please to drop a comment, click like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Come on. If you're not here already with the rest of the ants in the ant colony, please hit that subscribe button and join up. I'm hoping to get another episode up to you quickly. I know it's been kind of chaotic lately. Have had a lot going on with graduations and surgery and all sorts of stuff and renovations. So it's just been nuts. The good thing is all the renovations are done, thank God. So we're at least through that. Now we're just dealing with other stuff as life throws at you. But thank you so much for checking out the channel. I do appreciate your time. I appreciate you checking it out. I appreciate all the conversation. Coming up, going to do one on Soundgarden. Going to do some mail call. That's probably going to be the next one. There's been some good stuff that's come out recently that I really got to share with you. Mixed bag of stuff all over the place. And then we're going to get into one of our single episodes of just one artist. And that is going to be probably one of my favorite artists of all time. Definitely one of my favorite top 3 artists of the 90s, and that would be Soundgarden. So thank you much for checking this out. Really do appreciate your time. Take care. Peace. One love. And as always, music. Peace. Out.